Welcome, Jai Jagannath. Welcome viewers to our channel. We will discuss the Hindu newspaper up to 20th of May 2023. Today is Saturday. RBI to pull out 2000 notes from active circulation. Basically, what happens? RBI wants to withdraw that amount of rupees 2000 denominations from the public. Why? Because the supply of the printing of the 2000 rupees notes has been stopped from 2015 to 16. That's why RBI decides that to pull out 2000 notes from active circulation. The Reserve Bank of India on Friday decided to withdraw 2000 denominations banknotes from circulation in pursuance to its clean note policy. However, 2000 rupees notes will continue to be a legal tender. However, the similar withdrawal of notes from circulation was undertaken in the year 2013 and 14. The central bank has advised the public to deposit 2000 notes into their bank accounts or exchange them into bank notes of other denominations at any branch before 30th September 2023. It was the timeline. So, to avoid that rush, uh, the limit is fixed up to 20,000 per day. That means you can exchange or deposit 10 numbers of 2000 rupees per day by a single person. It is for, it is this news, and we will cover the second part. That is how Gujarat is working to become India's green hydrogen hub. Basically, what happens? What is green? Gujarat is working to become India's green hydrogen hub. So hub means it is natural. Hub means it is a gathering or it is a collection. But what is green hydrogen? Basically, the hydrogen produced through renewable or non-fossil fuel is called as the green hydrogen. So green hydrogen will you expect it is green hydrogen how will expected that it will help to decarbonize energy intensive industry like fertilizer, steel, chemical and petroleum. So Gujarat aims to produce 8 lakh tons of green hydrogen per annum by 2035. It is important by year is 2035 target. Then for green hydrogen scheme in the Gujarat, rupees 1.99 lakh hectare area is allotted. Rupees 10 lakh crore worth of investment expected in the state over the next 15 years. So Gujarat has says the ball rolling to become the country's green hydrogen manufacturing hub and retain its dominance over the industrial sector. It has signed MOUs with Reliance, Adani, ArcelorMittal, and Torrent. They have promised that they would invest a huge amount in green energy projects, and they are allotted the lands so that they can invest their money in that green hydrogen project. So, the state industry minister says that uh, they are creating a production capacity of 8 metric ton per annum by 2035. That means they produce green hydrogen by 2035. How much amount? It is 8 metric ton amount. The state is framing a new policy for green hydrogen manufacturing, which will be given the status of a priority sector. And for this, the Gujarat government has allotted lands to these companies. And how much land was allotted? It is 1.99 lakh hectare area. It was allotted to Kutch, Pansakha border area, and the and but by the corporates it was signed for allotted of 3.26 lakh hectare, but it was given that 1.99 lakh hectare area was allotted. The land parcel will be allotted on a 40-year lease initially. First, it is in the MOU it was signed that the land, that is 1.99 lakh hectare area, will be leased for a year of 40 year in the initial stage. Government will provide a range of incentive to the industry investing in the state's green hydrogen project. So the land allotment policy, the companies must meet the 50% of their green hydrogen production capacity. That means the countries in the MOU what they signed, they must achieve that 50% of green hydrogen by within 5 years of commissions. That means within 5 years they have to fulfill their production achievement target, that is 50% of green hydrogen production, and 100% within 8 years. That means within 8 years they have to produce 100% of green hydrogen. Zero emission country. So it is important because the nationally determined contributors NDC. India has set a target to becoming a net zero emission country by 2070. So India also aims to reduce carbon emissions by 45% by 2030, and by sourcing 50% of energy from renewable resources. So whatever the energy resources, India have determined that India have targeted a goal that India will achieve 50% energy sources from renewable energy sources like water, air, and solar energy, and nuclear solar energy, and uh, the geothermal energy, because these are the renewable sources. And it said that that carbon emission will be diminish will be carbon emissions will be reduced by means of 45% by the year of 2030. It is important because it will be asked that how many percentage of carbon reduction will be done by India till the year 2030. So your answer will be 45%. Don't be confused about that. It is 45%. And we will tell you that a scheme, that is FAM scheme, for electric vehicle, for procuring of electric vehicle, it was launched, and that more and more people get attracted to electric vehicles. That in electric vehicle emission will be zero, carbon emission will be zero. So why Gujarat was selected? Because Gujarat, Gujarat is a coastal area state, and it is full of renewable resource, like it has solar energy, and it has wind energy. So it can use that energy, and Gujarat will be a hub for green energy and its ecosystem, because it has favorable policy design, and solid infrastructure base was there. Then what happens? The state is expecting around 10 lakh crore worth of investment in this next sector, in the new sector, over the next 15 years. State is expecting that it will investment of 10 lakh rupees crore. So any company that want to have a MOU with the state government to set up a green hydrogen plant, they should prior experience at least 500 megawatt of renewable energy, or should be a user of green, blue, or brown hydrogen. We'll discuss what is green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, and brown hydrogen. Just stay tuned. It will be discussed later. So Reliance Group is committed that it will be invest up to 5.6 lakh crore and set up a renewable energy park and green hydrogen park in Gujarat. Then what happens? Um, the companies plan to set up factories for solar photovoltaic modules, electrolyzers, energy storage battery, and fuel cells, and wind and solar projects. How? Because solar photovoltaic module, electrolyzer, energy storage battery, and fuel cells, wind and solar project. So it is important that under this year's union budget, central allocated rupees 19744. Remember that 19,744. 19744 crore for the National Green Hydrogen Mission. NGHM for National Green Hydrogen Mission. What amount has been allotted? It is 19744 crore. Okay, 19744 crore. It will have a 5 million metric tons per annum. Green hydrogen production capacity minimum at least is 5 MMT, 5 million metric ton per annum. And with an associated renewable energy capacity addition, it is 125 gigawatt in the country by 2030. So it will produce how much amount? 125 gigawatt of renewable energy by the year of 2030. The policy Green Hydrogen Mission, National Green Hydrogen Mission. It has the policy. It will be aimed at it will attract investors over 8.8 lakh crore and create 6 lakh jobs by 2030. This is the for Gujarat, how Gujarat is working to become India's green hydrogen hub. All Adani Reliance is 5.6 lakh crore and Adani is 4.13 lakh crore. It is for this news. Then again another topic is among the elite. So India's presidency of the G20 gives it additional heft at the G7 summit. You know that in the year 2022 December, India took the presidency of G20, that is group of 20 countries. So now what happens? During the recent days, Japan had a G7 meeting. So you must remember what are the G7 countries. The G7 countries are US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and European Union. Can you remember that? US, UK, then Germany, Italy, Japan, Canada, France, and European Union. And these are the G7 countries. India is also a G7 country. So, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji will have visited the G7 summit. So, who is the host country of G7 2023? It is Japan. All countries, all countries have a top position on Russia. They say that it will be given a message to Putin. G7 will give a message to Putin that Russia will have to pay for its war in Ukraine. But India is somehow maintaining the non-alignment movement and peace. India wants peace, not wars. This is the message given by our Prime Minister Ji. So it will be a great opportunity, or you can say great big decision will be taken by India, that what India should give message to all over the world, because the G7 countries and European Union have sanctioned Russia. Neither Russia nor China, the elephants in the room, are actually invited. In the G7 meeting, India was invited, but Russia and China, the elephants in the room, that means the big countries that have a much more economic value and a strategic position and political position in all over the world, they were not invited in G7 summit. India's position will be important because the voice of the global south. Mr. Modi has committed to amplify in conversations about the impact of sanctions imposed by G7 countries on the developing world. So it will include on food, fertilizer, and energy security. So Japan has invited Ukraine, and the Ukraine President uh, Volodymyr Zelensky decided to attend. And all eyes in India will be on a possible meeting with him, and all eye in India will be a possible meeting with him. That means in India and Ukraine will contact with each other. Then these seven countries will keenly watch whether Mr. Modi extends an invitation to Mr. Zelensky to address the G20 summit in September. That means G20 summit will be held in September, and all the world wants to know that whether Prime Minister will invite Ukraine to this G7 G20 summit. I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji will invite Ukraine. It is my personal view. I don't know what will happen, but still, um, India, um, India as G7 and G7 plus countries discuss debt substantiality and helping countries such as Sri Lanka to avoid a debt trap. So debt sustainability. That means Sri Lanka was in a condition, it was trapped in a debt, but India helped Sri Lanka. You have to comment that what is the operation in which India helped Sri Lanka. It is Operation Dost or Operation Ganga or Operation Yamuna. So you have to answer. What is the answer? So building supply chain reliability. The issue, the topic which will be discussed in G7 is our building supply chain reliability. How the supply chain, we can trust that the supply chain, how the building of supply chain is reliable. Then spearheading alternative energy coalitions. What are the alternative energy except non-renewable energy? That is how the energy, wind and solar energy will be produced. It will be a topic of discussion. And seeking infrastructure and development aid in the region. India's unique voice as a nuclear power, because yes, India is a nuclear power country which was tested during Pokhran test. As a nuclear power that is not a member of non-proliferation treaty regime. Non-proliferation treaty regime, it is not a member. It has to impossible record in nuclear restraint will be heard as Japan seeks to send a united message on non-proliferation from Hiroshima, which was devastated by an American atomic bomb in 1945. While the heavy lifting for the G7 summit will be done by Japan and member countries, they are still seen as a small and elite grouping, and India left as a developing power because India has the presidency of G20. So it is a big opportunity for India. What will happen? Let's see what happens in future. Mr. Modi or G will invite Mr. Zelensky or not? Or what is India's voice during the G7 summit? Then coming to next news, it is very much important. It will be relevant for the prelims mains exam. So tracking SDG progress the Bhopal way. Sustainable SDG means Sustainable Development Goal. How Bhopal has met the SDG target. Bhopal has become the first city in India to be join the growing global movements of localization of sustainable development goals. It has the voluntary local review (VLR). It is voluntary local review. That means in locality review was taken in voluntarily by the people locally. In June 2015, in 2015, the 193 member states of the United Nations adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So the agenda was 17 Sustainable Development Goal and the targets are 169 number of targets. So it is the plan of action for people, for whom people, and for where, for in the planet, and for why, it is for prosperity. Who, where, and how. Who, where, and why. You have to remember these three questions. Who, for people, and for where in the planet and in the prosperity. The resolution specifies mechanism for the monitoring, review, and reporting of progress as a measure of accountability towards the population, towards the people. That means why the sustainable development goal, it specifies that it mechanisms, it is the process, it will monitor and review and report the progress as the accountability towards the people. Voluntary National Review (VNR) is the UN's high-level political forum, and more recently VLRs as a means of driving and reporting local implementation. Voluntary local review, reporting local implementation of a sustainable development goal at the sub-national and city level. That means whether the country or the locality or the administrative are taking steps for the SDG. These will be reviewed called as voluntary local review. It is a step towards VNR, voluntary national review. It is the UN's high-level political forum. Remember that. So, how far India has made progress? India has a very much commendable effort for the adaptation and localization and achievement of the sustainable SDGs. Niti Aayog presented India's second VNR, voluntary national review. Niti Aayog presented India's second VNR at the HLPF convened in 2020. India's Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has published a national indicator framework for the review and monitoring of SDGs. So it is important which ministry is involved. It is Ministry of Program Implementation, Statistics and Program Implementations. Has published a national indicator framework for the review and monitoring of SDGs, which conceptualizes the UN's global indicator framework to represent India's unique development journey. It shows the UN's global indicator framework. As noted in Niti Aayog report, at least 23 states and union territories have prepared a vision document based on SDGs. So a minimum of 23 states and union territories, they have prepared a vision document on SDGs. Almost all of them have initiated steps to localize the SDG. However, it has taken a while to get to India's first voluntary local review in this city of Bhopal. First voluntary local review was made in Bhopal. Cities are the most important stakeholder in Agenda 2030. At least 65% of the 169 targets could not possibly be achieved without the engagement of local urban stakeholders. A VLR is a tool to demonstrate how city are the important stakeholders. because at least 65% of 169 targets could not possibly be achieved without the engagement of local urban stakeholders. Minimum 65% would be achieved by means of involvement of the urban local bodies and urban areas. So VLR is a tool, it is a machinery that will demonstrate how the local actions are leading the way, how they are working in equitable and sustainable transformations for people and building a coalition of partners towards this endeavor. That means how these equitable and sustainable transformations are happening. Transformations are needed, but it will be sustainable and it will be equitable because it will be equal for all. And how it is for people and it building a coalition of partners towards this step. While it is desirable to align a city's VLR to the state level action plan where available and the country's VNR, the process allows a great deal of flexibility to cities to tell their story within a framework of their choice. That means, what are the steps taken by them for the sustainable development goals? In a framework or in a short video, they can put that. The cities would choose their priority for the VLR process, articulating it either in terms of quantitative assessment, like various city level indicator relevant to SDG targets, or a narrative that describe the effort and vision of the city. That means they can take some survey or take some documentations and documentation showing the video of how the city was before and how the city has targeted the goal after taking the perceptions of SDG goals. It may seem like a daunting task for Indian cities, like non-metro urban local bodies, because it has limited capacity and resources and disaggregated data to comprehensive VLR covering all SDGs. Therefore, a VLR does not have to be exhaustive in quantifying each of the 286 indicators under India's NIF, which translate the global targets under the 17 Sustainable Development Goals into local indicators at national level. Cities may choose specific sustainable development goals for a detailed review as per their priority and logistic comfort. As per their need, they can choose that. While doing so, they may adopt and further localize the national indicators under the relevant SDG to reflect the city level realities. They may adopt and localize what are the national indicators, what are the relevant to SDG, and they will reflect that point in the city level. Globally, many cities choose to align their review with SDGs that are taken up for detailed review by the HLPF in its ongoing cycle. So, what are the topic in HLPF? Many cities are thinking to cover that topic, that point in their VLR. So, Bhopal's VLR is the result of collaboration between the Bhopal Municipal Corporation and UN Habitat and 23 local stakeholders. So, it has 56 projects and it has three pillars. For people, it is SDG 1345. You have to remember that 17 goals. No poverty, zero hunger, like that goals. And life below water. So planet for SDG planet number is 6, 13, 15. SDG 1345 for people it is 1345. For planet it is 6, 13, 15, and for prosperity it is 7, 8, 11. The objective of building basic infrastructure and resilience emerged as a priority for the city from the number of projects mapped to SDG. Um, The in-depth quantitative assessment of city level indicators on the SDG 11 Sustainable Cities and Communities record Bhopal's stellar performance. It is outstanding performance in solid waste management practice and public transportation and open spaces per capita. And it will also analyze that what are the fields in which fields Bhopal have to work to achieve that SDG. Like what are the problems like provision of adequate shelter and high level of air pollution, city planning capacity, even distribution and accessibility of open spaces. Thus, a VLR necessarily have to be prerogative of local government. No? It just represents people's progress, locality's progress, and any city level stakeholders may take the initiative as the VLR is done within the overreaching framework of Agenda 2030. Under Agenda 2030, that the projects may be included as per the strategy of 2030. Uh, a case in point is city of Canterbury in UK, where some residents and local groups came together to form a spontaneous coalition that did the VLR. This coalition petitioned the local government to work with the city level groups to advance the SDG. So local peoples forced the government to take some steps towards achieving the SDG. And in global south, examples like local governments in Dhulikhel, Nepal, Singra, Bangladesh, Amman, Jordan that work in a similar context as that of Indian city to publish their VLRs in 2022. It is a remarkable opportunity for Indian cities to express in their stories in their own vocabulary using a framework of their choice to forefront their work at a global platform. That means they can document on that and they can make a short videos and it will be widely popular among in the global level. We hope more Indian cities will follow Bhopal's lead to showcase urban innovations and collaborations emerging from India on the global map. Then next is SC back to full strength as CJI administers oath to Justice Mishra and Vishwanath. So Chief Justice of India, it was CJI D.Y. Chandrachud on Friday, that is on 19th of May, administered oath of office to Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra and K.V. Vishwanathan. So it is now its full strength. It occupied its full strength. That is 34 number of judges in the Supreme Court. So Justice Mishra will replace Justice Dinesh Maheshwari and Justice Vishwanathan will replace M.R. Singh. And court will reopen on July 2. Justice Mishra and Vishwanathan were sworn in as judges in the presence of full court in the auditorium filled with members of the bars. The collegium had recommended them for appointment to the Supreme Court on May 16. So it is the same day of the oath taking of justices. As the same day, new law minister, that is Arjun Ram Meghwal, was appointed. So Justice Vishwanathan would be lined to be the 1558 Chief Justice of India in August 2030. Justice Vishwanathan would be the CJI in year 2030. And Justice Jibe Pariwala, it will be he is the top judge. He is also only the ninth layer to be elected directly to the Supreme Court bench. Who it is? Who Justice Vishwanathan would be the ninth layer directly. He was elected to Supreme Court bench. Justice Mishra, previously he was the Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court. So it will be asked that who take justices being are oathed in the presence of whom, or um, who gives oath to justices of the Supreme Court. It will be answer of a CJI, Chief Justice of India. Even limited arsenic exposure can mar cognitive ability. It caused a reduction in gray matter in the brain and affected concentration in children. That is what is arsenic. And young adults, say researchers who worked with 1014 participants from 5 regions across India. So the arsenic, that is the may reduce the gray matter in the brain and concentration of children and young adults. Though it is well known that ingesting a high level of arsenic from contaminated groundwater in India has been linked to a range of elements. That is, high level of arsenic from contaminated ground India has been linked to a range of ailments. That means even low level of arsenic consumption may impact cognitive functions in children, adolescents, and young adults. It will be affect the concentration of students, children, and adults. A range of environmental and biological factors affect neurological and cognitive development in young people. It will may affect the biological development and the nervous development. Also found that those exposed to arsenic had reduced gray matter. That is, gray matter. What is gray matter? It is the brain tissue. It is important for the cognitive functions, for concentrations, for the stimuli actions, like that, and weaker connections within key region of brain that enable concentration and switching between tasks and temporary storage of information. It is important because it is related to concentration. Chronic exposure, that means very much amount of arsenic could be creating a silent pandemic. It will affect large portion of global populations. It was published in the JAMA Network Open Journal. Scientists linked a urine sample to estimate arsenic exposure performance in a battery of computerized tests that evaluate cognitive functions and brain images that picturize various regions of the brain. So, arsenic exposure, previous studies have shown, is particularly harmful to the food. But however, the impairing cognition at an individual level was limited. The effect was more pronounced when individuals were considered as a part of collective. That means in individuals it would not be very much remarkable. You can notice that the loss of cognitive concentration, but in a collectively, in a simple collection of people, it can be observed. It We did not try to investigate the link between arsenic exposure and brain function. It emerged from the sea weather data. We would like to more thoroughly investigate the degree to which arsenic affects the brain. It is still research is going on, that how much amount of arsenic is affecting what portion of the brain. So, in separate air pollution, is it affecting the arsenic concentration, and it is the affecting the cognitive or mental pressure of brain. Since the 1990s, both central and state governments in Bihar and West Bengal have sought to address arsenic contamination. A common strategy employed is to encourage pipe water across access rather than groundwater. That means pipe water access will be better, and they have sought to install arsenic removal plants to states Bihar and West Bengal. Then next is US top official wants more scrutiny on Indian products derived using Russian oil. So while saying EU rules cannot be forced on other nations, European Union rules will be applicable to only European countries, not to outside of the European Union. Joseph Borrell said that ahead of Ukraine invasion, the share of Russian oil in India's oil imports stood at 0.2%, but last month it was 36.4%. It is a very much share. So European Union says that what European Union says that uh, it says that yes, uh, because European Union has made a sanction on Russia. Okay, understand? But India is importing oil from importing oil from Russia. Now what India does? India refines that oil and makes diesels and some products and sells to the European market. So now as a big issue because European market in the European market that indirectly the Russian oil is used. Have you understood that? That means European Union does not want any product from Russia's part. That means Russia's economy will, yes, India is a mediator between Russia and Ukraine. You can say that India is a mediator because India is just using India getting oil from Russia in a cheap rate and process that oil and sells to European market. This is the current issue. What will happen? But European Union says that we will not support Russia at any cost. We did not want their finance and we did not want to give the weapons so that Russia can make war with the Ukraine. This is the issue. If you let's discuss line by line. So European Union had to curb the import of refined petroleum product from India. European Union now denied to take to export imported goods from imported oil products from India. As EU, we don't want to buy Russia energy export because we don't want to finance its war against Ukraine. We also don't want to sell technological products and components that Russia needs for its war machine. European Union rules on trade with Russia were European Union entities, but that other nations cannot be forced to comply with them as the sanctions were not extraterritorial. Understand that European Union has made a sanction on Russia, but it has not made sanction on India. So it is beyond their territory. India's growing oil purchasing from Russia and the growing export to European Union of refined products that are most likely based on cheap Russian oil. That means India is importing very much amount of Russian oil, Russian oil, and it is exporting very much amount of refined products to European Union. So New Delhi is as European Union, Mr. Brussels says that as India is not a part of European Union, so the law is not applicable to European. India is not a part of European Union, so the European laws are not applicable to India. So China is also importing high volume of Russian oil since December 2023. Oil price cap is 60 rupees dollar, $60 per barrel, $60 per barrel, and it is important. Yes, it is normal because anyone will make any country will want to make profit. Obviously, in place of India, if there were other countries, they will also do that. So India will not want to lose that opportunity to import Russian oil in a cheaper price. So India is exporting products like Indian refined petroleum products and jet fuel and diesel. These are the export to European Union. So previously it was 1.1 million barrel, but it is now 7.4 million barrel. Mr. European Council regulations, if Russian crude was substantially transformed in a third country, it was not treated as Russian anymore. That means our foreign minister said that yes, Russian oil is used, but as Russia is not directly supplying that products to European Union, we are using that, and European Union is taking the export refined products from us. So it is the third country, that is European country, the not direct link between Russia and European Union. So why this is this topic? Why Mr. Russell said that they will investigate this issue. What will be done? Because the refinery product companies um, are taking the Indian products because um, they need and in because of the need, India is supplying. So European Union will again. European Union will have more scrutiny on Indian products. So tax waived on annual forex spend up to 7 lakh. It is Finance Minister, Miss Nirmala Sitharaman ji said. The Finance Ministry said tax collection at source will not apply to small transactions under liberalized remittance scheme. Existing beneficial TCS treatment for education and health also continue. Overseas payment up to rupees 7 lakh a year for education health are permitted with a TCS rate of 5%. Ministry says rollback being done to remove any procedural ambiguity. The government on Friday walked back its plan to levy a 20% tax on overseas credit card. From July 1, 2023, from overseas credit card, 20% tax will be put, and decided to exempt any payment by an individual using their international debit or credit card up to 7 lakh. Up to 7 lakh, you can make payments in the international credit or debit cards. So this was being done to remove any procedural ambiguity or concerns have been raised about the applicability of tax collection at source to small transactions on the liberalized remittance scheme. That means if the amount is small amount of investment, then it will be not collection of tax, and the tax will not be collected because it comes under the liberalized remittance scheme. Earlier, the RBI introduced a provision to paying overseas credit card spends under the LRS, which permits forex remittance of up to 2.5 lakh dollar a year. The government had separately notified that such overseas spending would attract a 20% TCS, with a provision to adjust such levies against advance tax payment or seek a refund at the time of filing annual tax return. So existing beneficial TCS treatment for education and health will also continue. So it was exempted up to 7 lakh, up to 7 lakh for transactions in a financial year. The international credit card and debit card holders uh, will not be forced to pay tax. So this is for today's news, today's The Hindu. Thank you for watching this video, and what are the improvements needed, and what if you have any doubt, then you can put your doubt and feedback in the comment section. Thank you, and please do subscribe and like and share among your friend circles. Thank you once again.